Today, two people asked me about Kingdom City Church. I took a look at their video of their church service and I was reminded of many church services that are similar to it. Now, people love being entertained, and churches know this. To attract followers, churches put on a show. Whether done with good or bad intentions, the fact remains people like to be entertained. Another thing people like is being part of something special, like a group or a gang. People like being part of a special group. We call it the in crowd. In the church, Christians are already part of a special group, a group of people who have exclusive access to heaven. However, within the group, there are even more special groups. We call them the inner circle. This inner circle is given something very special, very exclusive, like a prophecy that only they will get to fulfill. Just these two things, being entertained and being part of an inner circle, can cause you to be led astray. I know you probably think you are too wise to fall for such things, but let's imagine it for a moment. Imagine you are attending a super church where everybody is happy and the pastor looks like a great guy. One day, he calls you personally to talk about a prophecy that God had told him about you. You have been chosen, together with a few other leaders of the church, to be part of an end-time revival warrior group. All the end-time warriors will meet for special prayer meetings where prophecies are proclaimed and the power of God is affirmed for the fulfillment of the prophecy. Wouldn't that make you feel special? Even a little elevated over the rest of the congregation? Of course it would. Well, guess what? All cults use this technique. Jim Jones, David Koresh, Maharishi Rajneesh, Shoko Asahara, and closer to home, we've got Kong Hee and Johann Melchizedek Peter Tan. The last person I mentioned is actually one person, even though he's got four names. It is very difficult for me to tell you how to spot a cult or a cult in the making, because the wolves in sheep's clothing are not easy to recognize. Maybe it's easier if you just attended a small church where everybody knows everybody else, but that's quite impossible because the mega churches are so entertaining and people like to be entertained. If you're looking for a church, and if I may, I would like to recommend my church, SSMC, to you. It's a very down-to-earth church without much fanfare. This church allowed me to retain my membership even though I told them that I didn't believe in God anymore. I hadn't attended a church service in SSMC for like over 10 years. And yet, a few months ago, when I cycled to the pastor's house unannounced, he called out to me, "How are you, brother?" and brought me into his home and called out to his wife, "Look who's here!" And when his wife came out to see who it was, she stepped forward to hug me without hesitation, despite me telling her that I was all sweaty from the cycling. Before I left, the pastor told me I was welcome to the church anytime. Now, it's really difficult for me to advise you on how to spot a wolf in sheep's clothing. I think there's no other way to say it. I suppose maybe the best way is to always have a skeptical mind and to ask if you don't know. And it's okay to question when you feel something is not right. You know, I think it is also okay for Christians to be disobedient once in a while. It's better than being led astray by the pastor. In any case, I wish you all the best in your Christian life and to be vigilant always.